Presented by Listen Headlines, latest world news from trusted sources.
November 5, 1911 America, New York, CIA director dispatched to Moscow to warn Russia over troop buildup near Ukraine. President Joe Biden dispatched CIA Director Bill Burns to Moscow earlier this week to warn the Kremlin that the U.S. is watching its buildup of troops near Ukraine's border closely, and to attempt to determine what is motivating Russia's actions. November 5, 1900 America, New York, he survived severe COVID-19, now he's getting vaccinated, but losing friends. Jim Sells is 71, a self-described, strong conservative who's on social media all the time. As the pandemic unfolded in the United States, his online social network was the source of a lot of his ideas about COVID-19 and what the risks of the virus could be.
BBC News World. November 5, 1846 America, New York, Marilia Mendonca, popular Brazil singer, dies in plane crash at 26. Marilia Mendonca, one of Brazil's most famous singers, was known for her songs focusing on women.
November 5, 1846 America, New York, people have freedoms, Republicans eyeing 2024 take on Biden's vaccine mandate. A growing roster of ambitious Republicans, including Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and Texas Governor Greg Abbott, joined the legal battle against President Joe Biden's workplace vaccine mandates. November 5, 1840 America, New York, rapper Fetty Wap released on bond following drug trafficking charge. Rapper Fetty Wap, who was arrested on a drug trafficking charge last week, is being released from custody on $500,000 bond. November 5, 1830 America, New York, analysis, a best of times, worst of times week for Joe Biden. Tuesday was almost certainly the worst day of Joe Biden's presidency.
BBC News World. November 5, 1817 America, New York, hello, Senator? This is the Duchess of Sussex calling. Meghan Markle reportedly placed calls with U.S. senators this week to lobby for family leave. CNN.com World. November 5, 1815 America, New York, State Department establishes task force on Ethiopia as conflict rages. The State Department has established a new task force to oversee its planning, management and logistics related to events in Ethiopia, a spokesperson confirmed Friday.
New York Times World News. November 5, 1813 America, New York. 8 groups join Tigray rebels vowing to oust Ethiopia's leader. The government calls the new coalition, announced in Washington, a publicity stunt, as intermediaries try to negotiate a peaceful solution to a year of conflict. Burhan Gebra Christos of the Tigray People's Liberation Front at a news conference in Washington on Friday. He urged a resolution, before Ethiopia implodes and affects the region.
November 5, 1810 America, New York, Beijing, set to host Olympics this winter, to get first snow of season. The 2022 Winter Olympic Games will take place a few months from now in Beijing, China, a city where snow and precipitation are usually hard to come by in the cooler months.
New York Times World News. November 5, 1805 America, New York, Manitoba names a new premier, but a rival asks a court to quash the action. The litigation highlights the often messy process that Canadian political parties use to select their leaders. The Forks District in Winnipeg, Manitoba's capital.
November 5, 1801 America, New York, these Republicans are worried about Donald Trump's attempted coup 2.0. GOP representative, Trump will try to steal next election, CNN exclusive, rapid changes to Capitol Police Intel Unit caused confusion ahead of January 6, sources say, Trump official who pushed election fraud claims stonewalls January 6 committee. November 5, 1749 America, New York, Grace and Frankie, staging, 9 to 5 feet reunion with Dolly Parton guest role. The producers of Netflix's Grace and Frankie are not going to let our dreams shatter. Dolly Parton will be joining her 9 to 5 inches co-stars in the upcoming final season of the show. November 5, 1742 America, New York, scuba divers thought it was just a log in a lake. Turns out they discovered a 1,200-year-old canoe. On a brisk Tuesday at Lake Mendota in Madison, Wisconsin, maritime archaeologists, scuba divers, and residents of the Spring Harbor neighborhood stood in the cold as a canoe was brought to shore.
Time, November 5, 1740 America, New York. In The Electrical Life of Louis Wayne, Benedict Cumberbatch brings a famed painter of cats to life. When human faces get to be too much, with their expression of needs, disappointments or anxieties that are beyond your scope to fix, there are always animal faces, which never let you down.
November 5, 1739 America, New York. 5 takeaways from Day 5 of COP26. Kids in the streets, carbon capture cost, caution on net zero pledges. TGIF. It's been a long week at the COP26 climate conference, where Friday's theme was about the impact of climate change on future generations.
BBC News World. November 5, 1732 America, New York. COVID vaccine to be mandatory for children in Costa Rica. The country becomes the first in the world to mandate vaccinations for those aged 5 to 11.
World CBS News, com. November 5, 1726 America, New York. Americans in Ethiopia warned to leave, as soon as possible, as war rages. Fighting has raged in the north for a year now, and the war has worryingly crept closer to the capital in recent days.
November 5, 1723 America, New York. Woman battling cancer survives a bear attack in her Lake Tahoe cabin. A California woman is recovering and says she feels lucky to be alive after being mauled by a black bear that broke into her Lake Tahoe cabin and rummaged through her kitchen.
Mirror World News. November 5, 1720 America, New York. Breaking airport shut down after passengers flee plane forced into emergency landing. We'll be bringing you the very latest updates, pictures and video on this breaking news story.
November 5, 1704 America, New York. Glenn Youngkin's underage son was turned away from a voting precinct on Election Day, top county election official says. Glenn Youngkin's 17-year-old son was turned away from a voting precinct on Election Day, the top election official for Fairfax County, Virginia told CNN on Friday. November 5, 1704 America, New York. Rapid changes to Capitol Police Intel Unit caused confusion ahead of January 6, sources say. GOP representative, Trump will try to steal next election. Trump official who pushed election fraud claims stonewalls January 6 committee. Timeline of the coup, how Trump tried to overturn the 2020 election.
Mirror World News. November 5, 1658 America, New York. Brazilian singer Marilia Mendonca among 5 dead in plane crash. We'll be bringing you the very latest updates, pictures and video on this breaking news story.